I'm James John, and today I'm joined with the crew of Shiro's Story and Blue Story. We've got Simon Stolland, cinematographer, Jonathon Deering, film composer, Kaze Beats, music producer, and David Witchell, lighting gaffer. So let's go back to the start of how this all came together. So, start with you, Simon. How did you first meet Ratman and lead on to working on this project?
So I met Ratman through Jamal Edwards. Jamal needed someone to shoot a video for Ratman. It was for a charity, and yeah, that was about 4 years ago now. Yeah, it was called Hope on SPTV.
I think I do remember it. The one about domestic violence.
That's Rollercoaster. Hope is the cancel one.
Yeah, Hope's. Yeah, exactly. Hope's the one. Yeah, it's like a boy. He's like a footballer and he gets bug cancer. It's pretty dark.
Okay, I think I do remember it now.
Yeah. That's the first project.
And David, yourself, how did you meet Ratman and get on board with this project?
Well, I met Raps through Simon when he phoned me in a pinch, looking for a gaffer because your gaffer couldn't do it, and you knew me about. We did one video together that you set us up on. And you knew about me from a video I did with the original Blackie channel. But Shiro's Story 2, he phoned me in a pinch, and then the budget fell through, but we still just did it anyway, and it worked, and it looked good, so we just kept making stuff, and now we just made more and more, became a good team, and then Blue Story came around, so stayed on it.
Kaze Beats, yourself.
I started with him time ago. Probably 2012 or 2013. So first track, basically I followed him on Twitter. He sent me a link of one of his videos he done, and then I hit him up. I was just like, yeah, this is sick, I want to work with you. Then the first track we done was called Blue Borough, and then we just kept working from that. Done his first mixtape. Done the whole Blue Story before the film, the tracks Blue Story 1 to 3, all the other tracks. That was that project, Rollercoaster, Hope, so many. But and then Shiro Story, the Blue Story. So I've been there from the start. Yeah.
I didn't even realise that you did Blue Borough and the original Blue Story.
That was me.
That's sick. I actually just never even knew that. I literally just didn't even know that.
I've been doing that I've been working with him since he started.
Wow.
Yourself, Jonathon, how did you meet Ratman and get onto these projects?
It was through Simon. We did a film in the same year, feature film. And in that same year, part 1 came out. And then Raps was looking to he had a bigger budget. He wanted a bigger kind of feel. He wanted to make it a little bit more cinematic for number 2. So they needed a film composer for a couple of scenes, and it just so happened that I was the only person Simon knew. So easy. Become a film composer. There's very few of them.
Do you know, I think there's some good points there we can talk about in terms of networking for emerging creatives, because a lot of that comes from the network. Seems in recommendations for other people. I saw David's work through a mutual friend, Tyrell. I remember the lighting. I just remember there was some. I can't remember what the shoot was. Colours. I remember there was some sort of purple or pink.
It was like purple
lighting.
And green, and yeah.
I mean, there was something I commented on that. Did I comment specifically about the lighting?
Yeah,
I can't remember.
And then I said,
hello,
that was me.
And then David DM'd him, and then after that, David came to my home studio, and we vibed out, talked some stuff,
lit some freestyles. Oh no, that was the second time, innit?
Yeah. Then after that, then the second time you came to our recording studio, and David lit some freestyles. It was from that I recommended you guys get together and do something.
I was back in the LED panel days.
Yeah, and then it was the Maron shoot that you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
It's really funny actually. When we met, I told you before, but the first time I met David, I was like a bit skeptical because he kind of came on set and lit things, but then was like, oh, you know, do it like this, and started grabbing the camera and was like, oh, look.
I didn't grab the camera.
Yeah, you did.
You made that up.
You did. And I was like,
It sounded familiar actually.
yeah, and I was like, oh, I don't know. I don't know about this David Bray, you know.
I remember asking you, how did you guys get on? I remember you saying like, yeah, he was good, but he touched the camera or something.
I just felt like, yeah. I don't know. I just felt it was, yeah, I had actually never worked with a gaffer before at that point, so obviously I didn't know what to expect. Yet. But it was funny because that was my initial thoughts. But then, like I said, after we worked on a Meron shoot, and I kind of had it in my head, I don't know, David was a bit weird or whatever. And then obviously Shiro's story came along. My gaffer wasn't free. I didn't want to look like a dickhead and not turn up without a gaffer. So I was like, I was the last resort. Guy. You were. And bro, honestly, meeting this dude and working with this guy has literally been the best thing that I could have ever done, because he's taught me so much. And collaboratively, like, I think we worked together really well.
Oh, isn't he sweet?
Yeah, I'm glad you guys are working together, man. It's like some great projects come out of that, music video stuff, narrative stuff. Like, it's good to see you guys working together.
Yeah, it's been fun, man. It's like progressed a lot as well over time, like learning new things at the same time and like trying them out on set, and it's quite cool to see. Like, yeah, no, it's nice. It's grown a lot, and it's quite nice that it started from that old shoot with LED panels and those little screw fix like work LEDs and stuff, and like it's quite. Yeah, it's nice. Now we've got like big HMIs and frames and doing stuff that we kind of talked about when we're cool if we could do this. Like, it's quite cool that we can actually do that now, and yeah, that's quite exciting. Over like a course like 1 year.
Yeah, David actually came in real quick and blew up. Everyone started using David, and he's worked with
undercutting.
He's pretty much worked with, I would say, majority of the UK music scene now. Majority of the directors out there as well, and all the big ones and stuff. And
great to see you all working together, and just the progressions, man. It's good. And Jonathon, so you started working on this through recommendation from Simon.
Yeah, I paid him
as well.
Yes. Yeah, I mean the film. I used to be an actor, and the film that we did, I was acting in it. So I worked with him as the DP on set, and then I did the score as well. And then that's when we kind of really bonded. I think that's when we started to really we had alone time, you know, in the studio together, and we got on really well. But yeah, that is seriously when we kind of bonded. I think we appreciated each other's.
Why would you holler there?
That's where we appreciated each other's like creative work in general. And then I did your showreel.
You did actually.
I just remembered that before showreels actually.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, so obviously every year I do like a little showreel. That year, obviously, I just hollered Johnny because I didn't want to get done for copyright on YouTube. And yeah, man, Johnny came through and he smashed it. And obviously then, like I said, when Rapman, we were working on Shiro's story, I was like, do you know what, this will be perfect. So I spoke to Raps and told him about Johnny. Next thing you know, Johnny comes in, kills it, and
I didn't do that much for part 2.
You always say this, but you definitely did.
No, I didn't. It's very unnoticeable. It's part 3 where you can't notice it, and that's only because Kyla dies and you got sad strings.
Well done for ruining it now.
Fucked up the whole thing.
Spoiler alert. Jonathon ruined
if you haven't seen
guys.
it, it's 2018 for fuck's sake. That's when it came. If you haven't seen it, then don't bother.
Like 1 million views in 5 hours.
Yeah,
you've already seen it.
Well,
it did actually something like that.
Yeah.
It did do well.
Like, it got like 500,000 views in an hour.
Yeah, no, it did do very, very well. It did do very, very well. And you guys worked together on the music, right? You guys collaboratively.
Yes and no.
Yeah.
We've actually never been in the studio together.
No.
I think that was the biggest fear though, because it was literally like we were just saying, it was literally been a year since we had the first meeting for Blue Story.
Yeah.
And the producers were a little bit scared on how it would work. You know, you yourself doing, you know, the production side, the beats, me doing kind of like the score,
yeah.
and how that would work instead of like just having one person doing both,
Yeah.
or having to literally be in the same room and do it together. And we were both adamant that that's ridiculous. Stop being silly. We can do it, and we have again.
Made it work. Like we even met after that, and then we were just like, yeah, how are we gonna do this?
We were stressing.
We were literally stressing, but
We were
something has to
crying.
work.
You know, we were petrified, mate. We were petrified.
What was actually scary about it?
I think it was because it was a Paramount. Let's just name drop. It was because it was Paramount.
For me, it was because it was a film. I've never done stuff for a film before, so that was like the first big thing for me. Then, yeah, Paramount as well. So that's more pressure, but still put it off. So,
On that note about going from short series and music videos to a feature-length movie, how does that feel, and what were the differences in going from a more short series format of Shiro's story into full-length feature?
I would say the biggest thing was like the working environment.
Okay.
Obviously, when we did Shiro's story, it was a very small, tight-knit crew. So there was David doing the lighting, there was me shooting it, Hollywood, Eldorado doing sort of camera assisting, and then we literally just had Ratman and the actors pretty much.
No schedule, just
Yeah.
we were all there for the same reason. And
Yeah.
just made it. It went
Yeah.
on to like
But-
silly o'clock, and it was just.
But you know
that was fine.
it was pure like passion, and
Yeah, it was nice.
yeah, it was literally just pure passion, and that I think that's why we got such a good result, because everybody wanted to be there. Everybody was super passionate about making something great, and it was very. Everybody got involved, like Javan and Purcell. They were sort of like ADing, and then they were producing
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah, I
so when
remember.
they
Everyone
weren't,
carried equipment. Like no
Yeah.
one was above
Yeah.
the
like,
line or below.
exactly,
Nice.
and it was just like a group of friends making something great. And I think that was what it was like on Shiro's story, and then obviously going straight from that into Blue's story, where now you're in not the film industry, but everything's kind of like
Deadlines.
yeah, it's kind of a bit. Well, it is a business, you know. It is a business. At the same time, it's something creative. Like it is, you know, people do this to earn a living now on this level. So everything, like you say, had deadlines. It was really professional. You
a lot
know,
more mechanic. Like,
Yeah,
these people do this. There's like 5 of them, and these
Exactly.
people do this. And there's 5 of them, and it's just
yeah. There's so many more people on set, like that we didn't have before. Like we didn't have costume, we didn't have makeup, we didn't have an armourer. You know, an armourer. You know, yeah. No, but we didn't have any of that, and we're just running around with these plastic pistols. Thank God nothing bad happened when we were on Shiro's story. But Blue Story, we had all of this crazy things that we never really were working with before, and the whole body of this set was like just much bigger, much more professional, and I think it was like a really intensive training course for a lot of us. I'd say that was probably the biggest, most significant change, you know, jumping from that to this.
And how did it feel when you're on Blue Story? You become a head of department, being a cinematographer. So how did that feel, having some people underneath you, but also having some people above you as well? Very different from Shiro's story.
Yeah, that is a really good question, and I'll try to give an answer that doesn't go on for 10 minutes. But I think there's 2 sides to that. First of all, being a head of department, I didn't really look at it like that. I looked at it like, right, okay, cool. So we're doing what we did on Shiro's story. I'm shooting it, but I've got like a first AC and a second AC to help me with any technical things and building cameras and things like that, and just generally, you know, being handy and stuff like that. So I kind of looked at it like in that sense. I tried not to let a lot of that sort of stuff, you know, build up in my head or whatever. You know, it was a tricky one, because obviously I'd always done things myself and kind of had decided things off my own back. You know, I suddenly had people asking me like if I wanted to use another camera on set and stuff like that, and sometimes when I didn't feel like necessarily we needed it, I sort of felt like we had to use it. So that was probably one of the biggest challenges, was just trying to deal with that. Because obviously I've never been involved with that, so I don't know exactly how much leeway I have as like a director of photography to actually sort of argue that point. But I just tried to go with my gut a lot, and I didn't try to step out of line because it was all a massive learning experience. I just tended to go with the flow and try and make it work, if that makes sense.
And to you, David, you kind of
I had to step down.
stepped down a couple roles to work underneath.
Yeah, I sparked
Gaffer.
for Gaffer Leo.
What was that like, learning from, a more experienced gaffer?
I mean, it was really useful, but it was kind of hard at first. He really knows his shit. They all knew their shit. Two great sparks at the beginning as well, Amir and Jeff. They really know what they're doing. They've been on a lot of big production. They worked with that big kit a lot as well. At the time, I hadn't worked with that many of that larger kit.
Right.
So I was kind of green. It was quite embarrassing. I felt like a little kid. But they were good to me. They were like patient. Sometimes I got frustrated because I did dumb shit. But they were patient and they got me up to speed really fast, and I learned a lot. And I owe a lot to those three guys. Sparking is a hard job.
Okay.
So it was interesting to see just how hard it is, especially because I'm quite little and all the kit's quite heavy. So I realised I shouldn't really be a spark because it's quite a stupid thing for me to do. It's just lifting bare metal. Not for David. But no, it was really good, and I learned a lot. And I do stuff now as a gaffer that I learned off of Leo and off of Amir and Jeff, and yeah, it was good.
So Kaze,
Yes.
yourself, going from with Shiro's story, where the instrumentals and tracks you made for Ratman were, pretty much the basis for most of the video, most of the short movie. And what were the differences of going from that to Blue Story, where the tracks are like inserted at very important points?
With Shiro's story, like you say, it was just like the beat all the way through. Like part one and then part two, I just had to like switch up the tone or make it longer, and then part three was like the same thing as well. But Blue Story, I had to make different like other type of instrumentals as well, but must have like the same feeling as the Blue Story that I composed as well. So, but it was actually alright. Like I liked it when it wasn't like sections that felt like a proper, felt like a movie. Like if it was all the way through, then I'm sure people might get bored of it. I don't know, but yeah, but it was quite hard as well with the Blue Story, because I must have sent like Ratman some beats, and he was just like, yeah, but it's not he was like, remember, this is a film, so I want it to have like feelings and emotions and everything. So I was just like, okay, cool. So now it's like scrap those ones and have to like start again, and then just to make sure that it has all of that. But yeah, it worked out in the end. So yeah.
So that just reminded me. So you produced the music for Blue Story, the series, the original series.
Oh yeah.
And then now doing Blue Story, the movie. And so did you intentionally carry across any of the emotion and the sounds from Blue Story, the series? Mostly
the melody, the piano, because that piano is just so iconic. So
yeah.
I had to like keep that, and I just had to. He said to modernize it to make sure it's just from like today, but more cinematic as well. So that's what I had to do, and because I made that beat 5 years ago.
Right.
No, 6 years ago, 2013. Yeah. So, yeah, I just had to like, 'cause at the time back then I wasn't mixing and beats and stuff, so I had to make sure it was all clean and sounds good.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, I don't know if you know this, but people are actually making beats now and calling it Ratman Sound Beat online.
Yeah.
So what Kaze has done effectively has created a sound, like almost this new genre now, because people out there wanting to, I guess, do a similar thing and tell some stories or something like that. Like, props, man, because...
But it's got that kind of, it's that sound. Immediately the piano comes in, you're like, it's Ratman.
Yeah.
You know, like Shiro's story, Blue's story. You know, it's rap, man.
Yeah.
It sounds. It's the sound of.
Yeah, like even like you were saying with what people making the rap man type. He must have done that episode on, I don't know, it was on Link Up TV. I was literally watching it as well, and then he was playing them, and I was just like, that's not really a rap man type. And then I was for me, I was just like, but nah, I don't hear rap man on this. And like he'll play something else, I'm like, yeah, I can hear him on that one. So yeah.
And Jonathon, so circling back around to that original question, how did it feel going from making shorter pieces on the Shiro's Stories series into now doing a feature-length composition for, you know, the whole Blue Story movie?
Funnily enough, I've always found it easier to do longer feature films than short films. I mean, Shiro's Story, for a film composer, it's not necessarily what I'd classify as like a film. For a film composer anyway, because it for me, coming into it was more of a music video. Just from the outlook of me putting my work on it. Because it was without Kaze, it was essentially, you know, it wouldn't have existed. You know, it wouldn't exist. Yeah. So I prefer feature films because you've got more time to kind of like explore, and you are the main musical output for that narrative, musical narrative anyway. So the difference between like Shiro and Blue was I didn't really have to worry about when Kaze's music was going to have to come back in. It was more, I've got like 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes in between Kaze's stuff where I can start making the kind of soundscape, the kind of musical narrative for the film, and then these kind of like pillars throughout the film where Kaze's stuff would come in, would kind of like complement that rather than compete with it. And that was when Shiro's Story was kind of given to me. I remember putting the phone down to you and calling my fiance saying, "What? I don't understand what I'm going to do," because there's that fine line between, or there was a fear between, I didn't want it to sound like Kaze was doing this, but I didn't then want to sound like someone else was doing some music. I didn't want it to kind of like jar anyone. So it really is really hidden. That's what I mean when I say I didn't really do much. It's really hidden. It's very, very subliminal. That work that I did for Shiro until the end, and the trailer music, but until like the
trailer music that popped off online and did really well.
You done the trailer?
Yeah.
Come on, that's
what I mean, bro. The trailer created.
Yeah.
The trailer did create. You might call it drums and noise, but you could give a monkey, drums and make a noise, and it probably wouldn't sound like that. So
interesting, though, wouldn't it?
It's what you do with it. But the trailer music was sick, man. It had everybody gas wanting to see the, to see the.
Yeah, it got me gas. I couldn't wait to see it. I didn't see. I was waiting for it to see it. Like, I know what happens, but.
So what did you do on the second one, just so everybody knows, in case they haven't heard it, and it really is as tiny as you say?
For part 2, I did the kind of the famous scene, "Where's the food?" Between
Where's the food?
Furthermore,
Jonathon and Percy when they're in the flat, and then I introduced Kyron, Kira's brother, played by the late
that
cadet.
Noise at the end.
Yeah, when it's in the car, in Croydon. Yeah, so I did that, and then part 3, the intro where they're in Spain. The biggest difference, coming back to your question, is the timing, the amount of time I had to actually do it. With Shiro, I spent about a day on it and it was done. That's all that was needed. With Blue Story, because I had to write, I think I wrote about 3 minutes of music in total for the whole of Shiro's Story. And then for Blue Story, I think I've written about 3 hours in total, and only about 40 minutes was used. So tons more time, tons more deadlines, tons more stress. And you'll notice more. Whereas Shiro, you don't notice me, but Blue Story, you kind of have to,
I first met Ratman. It was last year during the Shiro Story. So all these time we've been working on all the other tracks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then
first, actually physically,
physically met him. Yeah.
Okay.
So Yeah, so we went. You invited me to go to Bobby Zion in the studio. Shout out to Bobby Zion. Bobby. Yeah, he invited me to go to the studio. Rapman was coming as well, and then Bobby was just like, "Yeah, so you met him?" I was just like, "Nope, never met him." And then Rapman comes in, and we're just like, "Oh shit, this is like the first time we've met."
Yeah.
And then we were just talking about like next plans for Shiro story. You told me everything about it. I've been working with him for so long, but like last year was the time that I actually met him. So yeah, man.
I mean, that's the power of technology and networking. Who's got some tips for any emerging creatives, audio creatives, visual creatives?
I spent a long time not getting any work, and
That's not a great thing to start off by saying.
no, because loads of people out there not getting any work, and they're sitting at home watching people chat because they're like, how the fuck did they get work? Because they're in the same position. I didn't have any work coming in, and I was trying all these different ways of getting more work and doing this, doing that. Just didn't work. I was a runner on a few things, like a camera trainee on a few things, like just trying to get whatever. But one of the most eventful things was when I just started making as many things as possible. So I had a friend who worked in a place that had a relationship with a storage container, and so we just asked him if we could use a storage container for a day. And then like Tyrell, our mutual friend, original Blackie Chan, he knows loads of models, so we collabed together on there. And then a friend of mine was still in uni, so I asked her if she could get me loads of equipment. Shabani, thank you very much. And then we just crammed everything into this tiny shipping container that's like smaller than this. And it's February, so it's freezing. And then we shot like 4 totally different looks in this metal box. I'm still quite proud of it because I don't think I could do it now. Like, it's a really tiny box. And we went for like dark looks and light high key looks, like perfume adverts. And then we used that footage and some other bits, but mainly that footage to make like a fake reel. So we pretended it was for commissioned content, like branded products. So pretended one was a perfume advert, pretended one was a advert for a personal trainer, and just made it look like we'd been doing it for a long time. Built a reel, sent that out. I was like, hey, I do lighting. I've been doing it for ages. And people were like, oh yeah, he's been doing lighting for ages. I can tell by that reel. But it was done in one day in February in a box. And it worked. And you kind of fake it. You can kind of demonstrate your skills without having people buy them from you. Like, if you want people to hire you, they're only going to hire what's of value, and they don't know your value if they don't see your value. So why would they hire you? So if you just demonstrate your capabilities, then people will want it from you. So see what you got around you, bring it all together. If it's a cafe, if it's someone you know has loads of work lights because they work at a scrapyard or something, whatever, just see what you can nitpick. You probably know someone who knows someone at uni. They have cameras. You know, you can just shoot a bunch of different looks, and then
I would sort of like to pretty much echo what David said.
Good luck.
I think it's important to use the resources around you. I hear all the time from people saying like, but I don't have this, and I don't have this camera, and when I get this camera, I'm going to be able to do this. And really and truly, it's not about the gear that you have. It's really about just what you can do with it. And I know that phrase is so overdone, but like, it's so true. For years I never had a shoulder rig or a stabilizer, so I remember I had this cheap little tripod that cost me like £10. I used to fold it up, and I used to put that on my shoulder and hold the camera like that as if that was a shoulder rig, and I did that for like a good solid year.
I used to wedge the tripod on my hips, on my belt,
exactly,
and go like,
bro. And you know, you see these people with, you know, like they take the camera and they put the neck strap on and they're holding that for stabilization.
Yeah.
All of that is very valid.
Yeah.
Still works.
You know? And I think it's important to not make excuses and to just do the work because you enjoy it, and know what you want to do. Watch lots of YouTube or however it is that you want to learn. I mean, YouTube's great. It's, free. There's a lot of other filmmakers on there that do all, different things. So learning from that is really good. Instagram is a great platform for reaching out for advice and things like that. So I think just use everything that is available to you. Shoot on your iPhone. It's amazing what your phone's can do
you'll
now.
fully surprise yourself.
Yeah.
Like, you can make stuff that you just didn't think. I still, in my 2019 reel I'm editing, I have a shot that I shot 3 years ago on like a Canon 600D with a like plastic 50, you know, the nifty 50.
Yeah, I remember
and
that.
it wasn't even like
That
magic
lens.
lantern or anything. It was just the thing. I don't think I even graded it. It's just straight from that camera, and you can surprise yourself even with shit equipment. But people still say, "Oh, I like that
and
shot."
also, it means that you value when you eventually do get the equipment. Not only do you value it because you've not had it before, but now you know how to use it, and you're buying that equipment because you know what you want. And until you rinse the gear you have, you don't understand or fully appreciate what the other gear is
Allows you to
you're
do,
going to benefit from. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know if it's the same with
that's
you
a very good point.
and
People start
music
with
and like
gimbals.
plugins and things like that. Certain sounds. I mean, it must be similar. Oh, you've got a mic.
I've got a mic, mate.
Okay,
Thank you.
James, you can look back.
I think it is. I mean, I didn't start wanting to be a film composer until I was 16. Before then, I just wanted to do music. I didn't even know I wanted that as a career. I think the important thing is to also, however wanky this is, like, you have got to find your voice. You've got to find your kind of like signature creative wise, because I mean, if someone wants Steven Spielberg, they'll get Steven Spielberg. There's no point trying to emulate a cheap version, because you'll just look like a cheap version. You know, whereas we were talking about like kind of signature sounds and like kind of like what we've done like as a team for Blue Story, but it's that people are doing Rapman inspired tracks now, and that's because someone made it. Someone, quote unquote, kind of invented it. You know, they found that kind of voice. They found like a style. So now Kaze will forever, whether he likes it or not, be asked to do that kind of style now, because he is the man for it. And I think you're never going to kind of make it in like, you're certainly not going to get paid.
You're not going to get paid.
But you're certainly not going. You're not going to kind of like make it in life until someone knows. It's about the value. Someone knows what they're getting from you, and if they know that they're getting this particular thing that they can only come to you for, that is when you'll start getting paid. That's when you'll start making money. That's when you can start paying bills via this one job, because you've got your signature, whatever that might be.
So just to nip in there, when you do get paid, I also think as a tip, it's very, very, very important to invest back into what you're doing. So
no stupid big fluffy coats and stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Yes.
man.
Well, for me at first, when I started doing music, I was 15, and I was just doing music just to be better than someone. That was my cousin. That's it. I never thought
Look at
that.
him now.
No. My cousin produced Man's Not Hot.
Never mind.
Yeah, there you go. So but he's the guy who taught me how to make beats, and after that I just started to use YouTube. YouTube is your best friend. Use YouTube, like tutorials, watch tutorials, watch how to make beats, watch how to mix. That's what I was doing. Then later on, I just started getting my tracks out there on SoundCloud. I don't know about SoundCloud now. I don't know what's going on.
Be dead now, innit?
Yeah. Back then, SoundCloud was popping, and like that's where you can get heard. Then find connections, network with people. People will hit you up. Go to like events. That's like music events, like even like live shows. You'll meet people there. There's an event I go to like now that sometimes it's a producer link up. Shout out to Kaze and Shiro McKay and Speaks and the producer link up. But yeah. But like they're the ones who made this event for like producers and artists, but mostly for producers, just to link up and network and just find contacts and just work with each other and that. So sorry. That's about it.
Yeah, that thing about networking is so important. But that's the thing about networking. Everyone's
Invest
in
in
it.
yourself.
Believe in yourself.
Believe in yourself.
Don't give up.
Don't give
You
up.
can do this.
PRS. Get PRS.
Yes.
All right. Because you'll need that. Yeah. Like people don't tell you that stuff because, like, especially like artists, and I had to find out from my teacher from college, and I had to pay £30. Now it's like £100. So
Yeah, it's 100. Yeah.
ooh, but trust me, £100.
If you're a musician, by the way, PRS.
Yeah, PRS. You'll get that money. Like what else?
Any form of like equity, whatever you're like, kind of whatever. I don't know what you guys have, but yeah, like we've got like BMI, like I've got ASCAP, like
PRS, yeah.
Anything that will help you make money, get money back,
And then invest in yourself.
and then invest in yourself.
Like buy keyboards, new laptop.
David's point is so important. Like just making, constantly making stuff. You know, because you do meet a lot of people that they'll research. I used to do it. Research lots. Watch loads of YouTube. Watch these things and learn these techniques, and then not go out and make them or not try to execute them because you can't get it as good as you see on YouTube because you're trying to make something perfect. So yeah, going out there, making things and always thinking, you know, that it's about progressing rather than perfection. So going out, making stuff, and then once you've got, you know, a few sort of shots, because you could just go out and shoot a couple shots and build them into a show reel. Like David said, he made a show, and it's kind of, I wouldn't even say it's fake. It's more of like a proof of concept in a way. It's a sort of a
just
proof.
demonstrating.
Yeah, it's more of a
I
demo.
have these ideas and I've
Demo proof. Once you've got that, then you just got to get it out there. You know,
and it's okay to make something shit. Like you don't have to nail it. It's fine to make something shit. Because sometimes you make something shit and it's like lo-fi. Or, you know, you make something rubbish and you go, oh, I can do that again.
Anything for anyone. You don't actually have to show it.
True.
No one has to see shit. You can just make it and go, yeah.
True, yeah, that making stuff, yeah, you don't necessarily have to make it and upload it straight to YouTube, put it on SoundCloud. You can make it for your own practice, get that. And then it's just once you've kind of got some items that you do feel are good enough to get out there that you want to show people, then it comes down to your network. You have to build a network. It is all about... We have technology, so we have Instagram, we have Twitter, we have Facebook, YouTube, we have all these things. It's about getting on these things, talking to people, going out there, meeting people, just getting down on set with people, building these relationships, because relationships is so important. I think even more important than what you're actually, how good, even more important than how good that sort of product is you're making, the relationships you build with people. So getting down on sets, DMing people, talking to them, and not offering them value as well. Offering them value, you know, going out there and asking people, can I just come on set? Can I see, do you need help with this? Doing things.
And I was just going to add in that point, actually, work for free as well for a bit. You know, if it's a real passion for you and it's something that you want to do, you know, initially, I think naturally for all of us, we probably don't even think about the money straight away because we just want to be making stuff, you know. So definitely work for free for a bit. You're going to have to, I think, to put yourself out there at the start.
Build up your name.
That's and then there comes a point, you know, where you might charge a little bit and then you might get away with it. And you might think, okay, cool, I'll do that for a bit and then keep charging this low figure. And then, you know, gradually, you know, the more you work, the more relationships you build, the bigger the reputation you build. And then it's just like a natural progression from there, I think.
Yeah.
I wanted to add as well, when you're saying like practice and create, and it's like also experiment. So just try new stuff.
Which is why being private is a great experimental field for that. Like, if you want to try a new technique, you don't have to announce it and make a big deal and make it all public. You can just try it.
Literally, there's no rules.
Watch it yourself and go, okay, that worked, didn't work, blah, blah, blah. You can just, experiments are really good point.
There's no rules. There's no, I can't do that. Just do what you want.
And sometimes not having the right equipment allows you to experiment, because if you have a cheap, tiny camera, you can like chuck it in your hand and spin it around, and you can like hold it like this, and you know you can do stuff. You can put on a skateboard and push it, and whatever.
And also that
you can't do that in Alexa and cooks and stuff.
Also, that restriction can being restricted, it makes you find ways to do things that you wouldn't have thought of if you had all this great gear, if you had no restrictions. Like you guys were talking earlier, you would put a tripod, you know, balanced on your hip here. You would fold a tripod down and put it on there. You made things work. That restriction, out of that restriction came some creative solutions. You know, restriction, it breeds even more creativity. So I think I've chased gear before. I do fully understand that. I've chased gear. I thought I'm not going to do this till I get this piece of gear. Sometimes I've got that piece of gear and I've used it twice a month, and that's it.
More gear, fewer shoots.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It is.
classic.